Hare Gange Mahadev Sri Shankara Parvati Pati Mahadev Sri Shankara.
Namaste, it's Sahara Rose, and welcome back to the Highest Self podcast, a place where we discuss what makes you your soul's highest evolvement. And before we get started, I have an announcement for you. Are you ready to transform your life, elevate your spirituality, and finally live in complete alignment with your soul? Are you ready to tap into your divine feminine and activate your innate magic? Are you ready to transmute your shadows and embody your fullest expression? Are you interested in Egyptian mythology and alchemy? If so, then this Goddess Isis Circle is for you. In this Rose Gold Goddesses Circle, I share with you my downloads on what is happening in humanity right now and how we can best utilize our energy to bridge the new paradigm. I guide you through finding the lessons in the past 6 months and finding your optimal timeline of how the next 6 months can unfold for you. I teach you my personal goddess breathwork practice, which releases stored emotions, opens up your chakras, and allows you to fully receive the messages from your highest self. For an hour and 45 minutes, we dive deep into the herstory of Goddess Isis, her mythology and symbology, and how to work with her medicine. I teach you the 7-step process of alchemy and how it applies to spiritual awareness and personal liberation. We dive deep into transmuting wounds from our maternal lineage and uncovering shame around our femininity. We'll rediscover the trust and access we each have to the divine feminine and how you are already tapped into her magic. Through journal prompts and reflective questions, you'll find out where your specific blocks are and where your possibilities are as well for your summer of transformation. I share with you a variety of Goddess Isis rituals, from a tongue-clearing ritual to an Isis rite of passage, and how to work with her in your current meditations and altar. If divine feminine magic, wisdom, and alchemy calls your name, then this Goddess Isis Circle is for you. You can purchase it individually over at the link in the show notes, rosegoldgoddesses.com/Isis, or also get it as part of your membership in Rose Gold Goddess, which includes so much more. As part of your membership, you will have access to the 10 other goddess circles we have done in the past, from Saraswati to Lakshmi to Yamaya to Kuan Yin, Bridget, and so much more. My Healing and Embodiment Through Dance Workshop, which is a 3.5-hour workshop of spoken and follow-along dance. My Awaken Your Powers Masterclass with Shaman Durek, my 10-day Discover Your Dharma course, and so much more. All of this is available for you in Rose Gold Goddesses, and I am so excited to elevate your consciousness and share this magic with you. You can find the link over at the show notes, rosegoldgoddesses.com or rosegoldgoddesses.com/Isis for just the Isis Circle, and I'm so excited to meet you inside. My name is Sahara Rose. I am a best-selling author and podcast host. I have been doing this podcast for just over 3 years, and really my mission is to make spirituality modern and fun and relatable and help people through the path of joy realize their dharmas, their soul's purpose, their fullest expressions on this planet. So if you are a new listener, welcome. I am so grateful to have you here. And if you're here all the time, well, I just reintroduced myself. So what's up? You know me, I know you, let's go. So we are going through a really interesting time right now. I call this the portal. I think you're feeling it too. Does it kind of feel like this really weird time for you right now, that you're sort of in between major life things and you don't really know where to fully be focusing your energy because you don't want to focus it on something and that thing not fully happen? And you, in a way, feel stuck because you're not taking as much action as you normally do, but at the same time feel really spiritually elevated right now and really more mindful than ever before. Your meditations are better before. Maybe for the first time, you're actually really meditating. You're able to feel that void within yourself. So in a way, you're feeling better than you ever have before. And in this other way, you're completely not feeling it like yourself. So this is the portal. This is what I'm calling this right now. It is the great void. So the void is like a space. It's that space between the inhale and the exhale. It's the space between two mountain peaks. It is the womb. What is the womb? The womb is the void that we carry within ourselves, our feminine temples, that is this darkness, this space inside of us where all life emerges. It is the portal between two worlds. We literally carry the cosmos inside of us. If you think about it, it's this dark place where life is created. So we are each carrying this like black hole galaxy inside each and every one of us. So as feminine beings, especially, we are very connected to this void. It is part of us. It is part of the divine feminine, which is something I teach about so much in Rose Gold Goddesses, my sacred sisterhood collective, all about embodying the goddess within. So we are in this shift right now, that we are shifting from this extremely patriarchal and linear way of doing things where you're always busy, you always have a plan, you always have an agenda, you always know what you're focusing your energy on next. You know where you're going to vacation in December, you know where your kids are going to go to school, you know what's going to happen in the fall, you know where you're going to go in the spring, like everything you used to know. And now it's all gone. In a beautiful way. No one knows what the fuck they're doing this Christmas. No one knows what the fuck they're doing in September. No one knows what the fuck they're doing tomorrow, And that's always been the case, by the way. We've never been able to predict the future, but now we are becoming very aware of this because our system is reflecting it back to us. Before, our system created this illusion of control that, well, if I put it on my Google Cal, it's definitely going to happen. And we kind of ignored when life would do its other things, whether it was something great that happened instead or something not so great that happened instead. But now we are seeing that we have absolutely no control over the future at all. That there are so many things that are up in the air, and spirit hasn't even decided for itself how it's going to play. It really does have to do with our mass awakening and how that unfolds. So we have to give up on this illusion of control and really surrender into being in the void. So at this time, we are releasing something. And astrologically, we just had the Capricorn full moon, the eclipse, which was the third and final eclipse of this eclipse season. And really, this was a time right now that we're still in, until kind of the end of this month, we're still in it, of releasing something that we've been holding on to from childhood, a belief, a pattern, whatever it is, that actually has been hindering us. So that thing that we've been holding on to since childhood, fear, belief, whatever, has really shown up for each and every one of us in the past 6 months. So that may have been your scarcity mindset. It could have been your savior complex. It could have been not having boundaries, being too much of an empath. It could have been being afraid of dying alone. It could have been fear of your body giving out, fear of losing your family, fear of death, fear of loss of control. So many great fun fears we've been playing with. But whatever that really was for you, that like major core thing, that is not new to this year. That is actually something you've been holding on to since childhood that has come to surface now to be cleared and transmuted. So I think of, the swimming pool, and it's really hard to get all of the grimy stuff on bottom. But when it comes to the surface, it's like ready for the little pool thing to just clean it right up. And that's pretty much what's happening right now. That thing has so come to your surface in your adult life right now that it's like, please, let go of me, because I don't want to be in your system anymore. I'm not part of you. And we right now face the choice. Are we going to learn from this lesson? Are we going to become aware of it, see how it's been affecting us, and choose to take action on a different path, thus creating a different timeline for ourselves? Or are we going to give it power? Say, that's not a fear, that's the truth. It's the truth that I lost my job and I have no money and now I have to live this horrible lifestyle. It's the truth that I was left and I had this horrible breakup. It's the truth that I'm XYZ, whatever that fear is. Are you saying, well, that's not a fear, it's the truth? Well, then you're going to repeat it. And you're going to spend the next year until next eclipse season or until whenever your soul decides to let it go. So we're faced with the opportunity right now to evolve or repeat. Are you going to evolve? Are you going to see that your mind has been telling you some lies? Or are you going to say, no, not me, and repeat it again and again and again? Anything that is not love is a lie. I want to repeat that. Anything that is not love is a lie. So if it's anything you're holding onto that's contracting you, that's taking from your energy, that's making you feel worse, it is based in some sort of lie. Whether it is an immediate lie that you are telling yourself, whether it is a lie that you have been told as a child, whether it is a lie that has been societally shared around, even if it's normal, it could still be a lie, because a lot of things in our society are normalized, like you have to look a certain way. Well, that's not true. It's based on a lie. You have to sell your soul to a corporate career to make money. No, that's actually based on a lie. So are you lying to yourself? Be honest. Are you lying to yourself? I know I was for many, many years lying to myself, telling myself, you could either do what you love or make money. You can't do both. You're either going to be a hippie or like a super corporate, hate your life person. It's one or the other. You're either going to make yourself happy or your family happy. It can't be both. I thought it was true. I would ask everyone I met what their opinion was, but it was a lie that I was telling myself over and over and over again that was keeping me small. So we all do it. We all do it. And this process is a constant shedding and a constant learning, but you do reach this pinnacle that you awaken, essentially, that these lies can't stick onto you anymore. Even if you believe it for like a minute, it like goes away. And that's when you're really living in your truth and your authenticity, and you're, living in that 5D level of consciousness. When we talk about 5D, it doesn't mean that you're going to like go somewhere else. Like all of us 5D people are moving to another planet. No, it's a level of being right here. We're all going to be on the same earth, but we're all going to have very different experiences of it. And that has to do with, are we learning from the lessons, or are we giving them power and believing them to be true? So this is the process of alchemy that we're really diving into this month in our Rose Gold Goddesses Circle with Goddess Isis, aka Aset. She's a Kemetic goddess from Egypt. So alchemy is that process of transmutation. It is taking basic minerals and turning them into gold. It is that spiritual process of finding your shadows, finding the medicine of it, letting go of your former self, taking the new aspects of yourself, transmuting it. It's a 7-step process that I teach you how to do in the Isis circle. But right now, as a society, we're going through it. And that's why it's super important for us to really be buckling down into our spiritual practices, reading spiritual texts, meditating, breath work, yoga, dance. My Healing and Embodiment Through Dance Workshop is really good. Like everything to reconnect to your spirit right now, because each person is really receiving the messages from their own intuition, guides, etc., to tell them exactly where they should be focusing their energy on right now at this moment. So if we can just keep ourselves as clear as possible, we're going to get that message. But if we're convoluting our minds with everything that's happening in the external world, I'm talking about anything that's like news related, politics related, anything that's outside of you, this actually is not the time for that, because right now we're being fed many, many lies. What we're seeing is actually not true. So it is very important for each of us to like tune back in to our unique guidance at this time, because what I have observed that happened in the month of June was that this movement was a little bit taken by darker forces who kind of used this beautiful shift, this beautiful awakening that we all had, that we are here to be, anti-racists, living in a more just world. But what happened energetically were these forces kind of used this as a further way to divide and conquer us. And we repeated the exact same tactics that we don't want. We kind of put people in jail, by cancel culture. We don't want jails, and then we put people in jails. So because most people have not elevated their consciousness, they know they want change, they know the system's not working, but they're not embodying the new paradigm. So they're basically repeating it. They're fighting against it. It's like fighting against war. It's like killing someone because they killed someone. It's like two wrongs don't make a right. And I do think that it was necessary for us to take out our rage and to be heard and to, let it out. But I think that what happened was that collective energy was like maneuvered towards people hurting each other instead of focusing on what world do we want to create. Now that we have all of this energy, that we all agree with the same thing and we all have this clear vision of what we want, which is a more equal and equitable world, let's shift our energy there instead of beating each other down while the forces at power get even stronger. So this can only happen truly when we raise consciousness. It can't happen without it, because the thing with consciousness is it gives people the tools to be able to think for themselves and not fall for any sort of lie. So I like to think of that analogy of like, give the man a fish, feed him for a day, teach a man to fish, feed him for a lifetime, right? The same thing is with consciousness. I could tell you, vote for this person, not for that person. I could tell you, share this on social media, don't share that. I could tell you, say this, don't say that, or do better, but don't do that. I could keep telling you what to do and you might do it. It'll be a monkey see, monkey do. But if I help you raise your consciousness, which is giving you tools that I'm no longer needed. It's this one-time process of you getting whatever code you needed from me and you're raising your consciousness, and you continue on your journey of raising consciousness, which will actually guide you to many different places and many different teachers and many different books, because your consciousness will then reveal the path to itself. Then no one needs to tell you what to do. No one needs to tell you, believe this, don't believe that, this theory is right, this theory is wrong, vote for this person, not that person, act like this, don't. No one needs to tell you that stuff anymore, because your compass is turned on. No one needs to point you north. Imagine we were all trying to make it through the woods, but I had a compass that was working and always facing my true north, and you didn't. And you had to keep going around and asking random people in the forest, which way's north? Which way's north? Well, everyone's going to tell you somewhere different. Someone's going to say it's over there. Another person says the total opposite direction, and you don't freaking know because you don't have a compass. That is the same thing with consciousness. If you don't have your consciousness turned on, you're going to be asking other people where your true north is based off of their compasses, which are not in alignment with yours. So this is why the most important thing that we can truly do to make a shift in the world, I'm talking poverty, lack of education, human trafficking, these deep, dark things in the world, as well as environment, as well as climate change, as well as these massive issues, as well as these subtle issues of, just better rapport, more equality, more love. Like every single level, the solution is one. The solution is to raise consciousness. If we can raise consciousness, a conscious person is going to naturally, without anyone ever telling them, know to not use plastic, know to not waste things, know to, donate some money to causes that matter to them, know to support businesses, small businesses, minority-owned businesses, know how to interact with people in a loving way, know how to listen. They're going to know these things naturally from their intuition because they're plugged in, they're turned on, they're tapped in, they're awake. But I could keep on trying to tell you, it's like, imagine if you move to France and you don't speak any French, and I keep on whispering in your ears, oh, say this, s'il vous plaît, say this, arrête, say this, blah, blah, blah. You could say those words, but what's going to happen when I'm gone? Suddenly you don't know how to survive anymore because you don't speak French. So instead of me constantly whispering in your ear what words to say next, what if I taught you French? And then you can go in any situation that you're ever in and you know how to communicate, you know how to move forward. So this is why, and in this lifetime for me, this is how I know I am here to raise consciousness, because I have lived many, many lifetimes where I have been the martyr. I have been the person who burned myself down, drowned myself, so many things to save other people. And this was actually what the first part of my life in this lifetime has been, always thinking I'm going to die being a human shield in somewhere like the Congo because I want to die essentially helping others. And while I still want to die helping others, I don't want to be a human shield. I feel like I have other stuff to do than just like use my life right now to be killed. But that is how extreme I was around saving people. I, as I've mentioned before in other podcasts, was a hardcore activist. I created the Amnesty International chapter in my school, brought many people like Noam Chomsky to speak. I led many protests and gave a whole talk that was like won the debate on student activism, and went to school to become an international human rights lawyer in DC, and then realized that that was not the best way to help people. And when this situation of June of the racial issues came up, I went back to my activist mode, but then realizing, wow, this is me in a way acting from my past life self, like my South node, my former archetypes that I have been working with, that come so naturally for me to help everyone and save everyone at the expense of burning myself. And what I actually awakened to was a past life death. That I was in Lemuria, which is the ancient civilization that is in modern day Hawaii, as well as across the Pacific Polynesian area. And Lemuria, I've spoken about this on the podcast about past lives, such a beautiful place, lush waterfalls. It's led by the heart. It's the divine feminine. All of the things I love so deeply in this lifetime are Lemurian. And what I realized was that in that lifetime, a lot of people knew that Lemuria was sinking. I even knew that Lemuria was sinking, but as everyone else was leaving, I said, I can't leave. I have to save the people. I have to help the people. I'm not going to leave them. And a sister of mine said, we have to go. We're leaving. She was going to Atlantis. And I was like, there's no way I'm leaving the people. And I ended up drowning and dying. So it showed me that not only was I not able to save all of the people, but I also killed myself in the process. So it is super important for us to realize our own triggers and our own wounds that come from our childhood as well as our past lives, because our past lives are reflected in our childhoods and in our choices today. So my lesson of the past 6 months was this: me being a savior, me trying to save everyone, help everyone, explain everyone this, realize them, send them this article. Like, I literally was so in that, especially the past 2 months, that it created so much anxiety in me, which is so not me, because I was like, how am I going to like help enough people? How am I going to awaken enough people? And like, not coming from this like relaxed space, but coming even from a frantic energy of like, I need to help people. And that is not how we're going to help people in the new paradigm. That is not it. The new paradigm is you raising consciousness, elevating the vibration of the planet, being the change, sharing to people who are open to receive, and trusting that people have their own compasses that will turn on, that will guide them. And I know a lot of you guys listening are also the saviors, the helpers, the empaths, the people who like to fix things in other people's lives, relationships, the people everyone come to whenever they have a problem. 100% me too. That's our kapha dosha showing up, our earth energy. And we get to learn that this lifetime is not about that. This lifetime is about helping people through awareness, and also helping people realize that we can learn through the path of joy. It doesn't have to be burning ourselves out to be helpful, to learn a lesson, to move forward. We can actually do it from a place of intuition. You know, I always talk about dharma and karma, but dharma is your divine purpose, your soul's purpose, and karma is the bounded action by the universe that happens when you are not in alignment with that purpose. So that's when things start feeling hard, when life feels like a series of unfortunate events, when you keep on bumping against hard roads and, you know, you're stressed out, you're burnt out, you're anxious. That means you're not in alignment with your dharma. Because there are people who are, you know, fully in doing things that may stress you out, but it doesn't stress them out because they are in alignment with their dharmas in that way. So if it's giving you a ton of stress, anxiety, you can't sleep, you're glued to your phone, then that is not for you, at least not in the way that you are doing it. Maybe you need some boundaries. Maybe you need some time off social media. Maybe you need to tap back into your intuition. But for all of us, we need to trust our bodies as our compasses and find and honor what makes us stay in alignment. This is not about saving everyone. This is not about being the one person to wake everyone else up. And I think it's important for us to trust that people are intelligent and to trust that people will find their paths on their own, which is a really hard pill to swallow for us saviors. We're like, well, what if I don't teach them? Trust that they will find the path on your own just as you did. And if someone wants to learn and if someone is receptive to it, that's not draining. That's actually enjoyable. Teaching to a student that wants to learn, that's making shifts, that they're getting better, that's very enjoyable. But teaching or trying to help someone that is not making shifts, that is fighting against you, that's not even open, like in this debate type of energy or this convinced type of energy, the reason why it's draining is because it's not, your energy is not flowing. You know, when energy doesn't flow, that's when we get exhausted. So if I'm expending my energy into trying to help you, for example, and you're shutting me down, you're not receptive to, the energy stops flowing because it ends right there. It's not actually penetrating and moving through you. But if you were inspired by it, you're receiving it, you're grateful for it, and then you take it, add on your own intentions and secret sauce to it, and then you share it with someone else, and that energy just flowed through me, through you, through this next person, and they received it, felt it, shared it with someone else, and the energy is flowing and it feels really good. It's like a river, right? It's not stagnant. So this is why it's important for us to realize that life is meant to be lived in the state of flow, of grounding, of joy, of ease, of serenity. And for me, and what I am dedicating my summer to is to honor that kapha energy because it has been so suppressed. It has been suppressed societally. It has been suppressed internally. The kapha energy of just like relaxing and being with the sacred pause and being with the void and not rushing to things, not rushing to projects, not rushing to conclusions, not rushing to just do something because you're so uncomfortable with the state of not knowing what you're going to do. So this is why this month is all about being in the great void, letting yourself be, coming back to your practices. You know, for me, it has been breath work. That has been massive. The goddess breath work that I teach in the Goddess Isis Circle this month is it's a non-negotiable for me. For you, maybe it is Vedic meditation. Maybe it is working with crystals. Maybe it is chakra healing. Find what it is that your soul needs right now and just commit to it. Make your spiritual practice be that thing that you will dedicate your summer to, because babe, you ain't going to parties. I know that. You're not hitting the club. You're not hitting all the barbecues either. So why not? Instead of going outwards, go inwards. You know, there's a reason why this quarantine is lasting as long as it is. And it's not because, you know, Source hates us. It's because we still haven't fully done the internal work. And honestly, it's going to last for however long we need to do the internal work. So maybe the past couple months for you have not been as internal as you would have liked them to. Maybe you have been, and I know for me, you know, I definitely have been on the news more than I ever have been, not like the normal news, but like social media news and just like trying to figure out what's happening. I think a lot of us have spent a lot of energy on the external of trying to understand what's happening in the government, what's happening with our health, what's happening with all the different theories out there. So, you know, at the beginning, everyone's like, oh yeah, like emailing each other, oh, now that you have all of this time, like let's hop on a Zoom call. And it's like, I don't think any of us had like all of this like bored time. I know I for sure have not had any of that, but it has been like almost like where have the days gone? And like, I don't even know what I did. I think I just like read a bunch of different theories. So we want to move away from that. We want to move into exploring our internal worlds and trusting that if reading articles and if referring to different theories, YouTube videos, whatever it was, helped us find the answer and helped us find clarity, well, then we would have had it by now. Because it's been 4 months that we've been doing this, and I don't think any of us still know what's happening because no one knows what's happening, because the source doesn't know what's happening, because it's still up in the air. And the more that we wake up and shift consciousness and elevate our frequency, the better the turnout is going to be, because we will then take action on a better outcome. So it's working both energetic and both literal, because we're also, as conscious people, knowing what we want, right? So trust that the best thing that you can do to actually be an activist is to go inwards and raise your own consciousness. And that is actually going to have a much greater ripple effect than anything else that you could possibly do. You can still protest, sign the petitions, all that. I still do that too. But I'm aware enough to know that my one signature is not going to be that breaking point to create change, but me raising up into my highest self and showing up in the ways that I do through this podcast and, reaching hundreds of thousands of people doing it is actually going to shift the trajectory of how the world can go more than me spending my whole day reading things and then signing some petitions, So find what it is for you. It could just be changing the way you communicate to your child, teaching them different things. It could be changing your relationship dynamics, moving from codependency to healthier relationship dynamics and trusting the ripple effect that has. Listen to yourself, honor yourself, do your practices, and really focus on elevating your consciousness, because if we all do this month, then imagine how incredible this world is going to be with a bunch of awakened souls who are fully ready, fully tapped in, and ready to share their magic with the world. So come ritual with me in this month's Goddess Isis Circle in Rose Gold Goddesses. We dive deep into, as I mentioned, my personal breathwork practice. We talk about optimal timelines that you can take. It's a full hour and 45 minutes with the her story, aka history, but it's a her story of Goddess Isis, aka Aset, her mythology, her symbology, how to work with her medicine, the 7-step process of alchemy, transmuting our wounds from our maternal lineage, uncovering shame around our femininity, trusting our divine feminine intuition, reflecting on our unique blocks, what we are really looking for the summer of transformation, different rituals we can practice, meditations. All of this is there for you in the Goddess Isis Circle. And you can also join us for a full month of Rose Gold Goddesses and take part in the 10 other goddess circles that we have, my Healing and Embodiment Through Dance Workshop, my Awaken Your Powers Masterclass with Shaman Turek, my 10-day Discover Your Dharma course, dozens of workshops on all things from healing to abundance to throat chakra healing to astrology to Akashic records, to working with Tantra, Goddess Kalima, all of that is there for you in Rose Gold Goddesses. I guarantee you once you join and you see all of this, you're going to be like, oh my goddess, how was I doing life before? And just the community, having 2,000 spiritual soul sisters around the world in a city near you that you can talk to about everything happening. I mean, there is no greater asset that you can have in your life than this. So come join us in Rose Gold Goddesses. I am so excited to meet you inside. You can find that link in the show notes. It is rosegoldgoddesses.com. That is Rose Gold Goddesses plural. And I am so excited to meet you inside. If you loved this episode, I would love to send you a free gift, which is the first half of my unreleased book, Eat Right for Your Mind Body Type. This is a different book than Eat Feel Fresh, my first book ever, which is not released anywhere, and I am gifting it exclusively to those who leave a review of my podcast in the iTunes store. So all you got to do is head over to iTunes where you may be listening to this podcast and leave a review. Take a screenshot that you've left it and email it over to me at Sahara@eatfeelfresh.com. Again, that's Sahara, Sahara, at eatfeelfresh.com. And I will send you back the first half of my unreleased book, Eat Right for Your Mind Body Type, which goes all into Ayurveda, doshas, plant-based nutrition, body types, all of the things in a really fun and engaging way. So this is my gift to you for free for supporting the podcast. Every single review I personally read. It really helps the podcast be listened to by more people so we can raise the vibration of the planet together. And I am so grateful to have you on this journey. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode. Namaste.